who were the ancestors of the Black people according to the Bible? That's a question to which various arguments exist. However, for many, Black people were never considered in any religious book. Yet, when someone reads those books in detail, it is revealed that Black people have been the center of attention. Even when the racist elements are not ready to believe, the truth cannot stay hidden for any longer. So does it mean that Black people had and have been facing religious racism? Was their identity that the religious books like the Bible talk about deliberately hidden? Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will reveal what the Bible says about Black people's origin and identity. Let's get started. The Bible's pages go beyond sacred teachings. They tell stories of various cultures, lands, and peoples. In these tales, Africans play a significant role, leaving a lasting impact on the biblical story that spans from its earliest chapters to its concluding verses. It's because Africans are the ancestors of all human beings, and Africa is the cradle of humanity. Therefore, it's unsurprising that the Bible focuses so much on Africans. Take the land of Cush mentioned in Genesis 2:13, often acknowledged as a region in Africa south of Egypt, possibly modern-day Sudan. In the Bible, Africans are portrayed as descendants of Noah, renowned for the Great Flood and the ark he built. Following the flood, the world was repopulated through Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Focusing on Ham, Genesis 10:6 notes, the sons of Ham were Cush, Egypt, Phut, and Canaan. Exploring these names, many biblical scholars suggest that Cush refers to the region south of ancient Egypt that includes parts of modern-day Sudan. Egypt straightforwardly refers to the ancient and modern nation of Egypt in North Africa. Phut is believed to represent parts of North Africa, possibly the region of modern-day Libya. Although Canaan isn't directly associated with the heart of Africa, it is situated in the ancient Near East, linked to modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, and parts of Western Jordan and Syria. Genesis 10:7 further details the descendants of Cush, saying, "The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabteka. The sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan." Names like Seba and Havilah are the regions and even the tribes in Africa. In other words, these African tribes are directly mentioned in the Bible and are in the purest forms, manifesting the Bible. Many African nations can trace their ancestry back to Noah through his son Ham. Reflecting on this link is fascinating, considering the diverse continents that emerged from a single family on an ark. Many generations have passed since the time of Adam and Eve in Eden. Among their descendants was Abraham, a man renowned for his steadfast faith. However, life's unpredictable turns brought a severe famine to Canaan, compelling Abraham to seek sustenance in other lands. Genesis 12:10 notes, "And there was a famine in the land, and Abraham went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land." Egypt, an ancient African civilization, emerged as a beacon of hope during these desperate times. With its abundant resources and the nourishing waters of the Nile, it promised refuge. However, this journey was not without its trials. Fearing for his safety due to his wife Sarah's beauty, Abraham asked her to pose as his sister, setting off a series of events that further twisted Abraham's destiny with that of the Egyptians. Joseph, Abraham's great-grandson, is another significant figure whose life became deeply entwined with Egypt. His story is one of betrayal and redemption. Endowed with dreams containing prophetic insights, Joseph's talents were misunderstood, leading his brothers to sell him into slavery. However, the land that could have been Joseph's prison became his platform for greatness. Despite facing false accusations and imprisonment in Egypt, Joseph's ability to interpret dreams brought him before Pharaoh. In an unexpected turn of events, the young Hebrew slave rose to become the second most powerful man in all of Egypt, playing a crucial role in safeguarding the region from an impending in ancient Egypt. The Israelites thrived and multiplied, but the Egyptian pharaoh, alarmed by their increasing numbers, enslaved them. Fearing a potential uprising, he ordered the drowning of every newborn Hebrew boy in the Nile River. During this time, an Israelite woman gave birth to a son and managed to hide him for 3 months. When concealment became impossible, she crafted a basket, placed her baby inside, and positioned it among the reeds along the Nile riverbank. The Pharaoh's daughter discovered the child, felt compassion, and adopted him, naming him Moses, which means I drew him out of the water. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Although Moses was of Israelite origin, he grew up in the Egyptian royal household, experiencing the culture and privileges of African royalty. As Moses matured, God called him to be a leader and liberator of the Israelites. When Pharaoh refused to release them, God sent 10 plagues to Egypt. Eventually, the weight of these plagues and the loss of his firstborn son compelled Pharaoh to free the Israelites. Pharaoh changed his mind as they departed and pursued them with his army. The Israelites felt cornered by the Red Sea and the Egyptian forces. However, God performed one of the Bible's most dramatic miracles through Moses. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and God divided it, creating a dry path for the Israelites to cross safely. When the Egyptians pursued, the waters returned, drowning the entire Egyptian army. Throughout the Bible, the lands of Ethiopia, often referred to as Cush, and its people, the Cushites, are mentioned multiple times. The famous story of the Queen of Sheba, who was black, visiting King Solomon is vividly mentioned in the Bible. Intrigued by Solomon's fame and wisdom, she journeyed to Jerusalem with a grand caravan bearing gifts of gold, spices, and precious stones. Upon arrival, she presented challenging questions to Solomon, who effortlessly answered them all. The queen was left in awe of his wisdom, the grandeur of his palace, the organization of his officials, and the ceremonies in the house of the Lord. She addressed King Solomon, declaring, "The reports I heard in my own country about your accomplishments and wisdom are true, but I didn't believe them until I came and saw with my own eyes." In response, King Solomon fulfilled all the desires and requests of the Queen of Sheba, surpassing the generosity he had already shown from his royal bounty. Content and satisfied, she returned to her country with her escort. In another tale, Ebed-Melech, the Cushite who exhibited compassion while rescuing Jeremiah in challenging times in Israel, played a crucial role. When Jeremiah prophesied the fall of Jerusalem, those who opposed his message cast him into a deep, muddy pit with the intention of causing his demise. Ebed-Melech, a Cushite and Ethiopian official in King Zedekiah's royal palace, got wind of Jeremiah's predicament. Deeply concerned, he approached the king, expressing, "My lord the king, these men have acted wickedly in all they have done to Jeremiah the prophet. They have thrown him into a pit where he will starve to death." Responding to Ebed-Melech's plea, King Zedekiah instructed him to gather 30 men and rescue Jeremiah from the pit before he perished. Ebed-Melech's bravery and compassion ultimately saved Jeremiah's life. The Ethiopian eunuch, an early Christian convert, also played a significant role. Philip, an early Christian evangelist directed by an angel, journeyed south to the road from Jerusalem to Gaza. There, he encountered an Ethiopian eunuch, a high-ranking official responsible for the treasury of the Ethiopian queen. The eunuch was reading aloud from the book of Isaiah and found himself puzzled by a particular passage. Philip approached him and inquired if he understood what he was reading. The eunuch responded, "How can I, unless someone explains it to me?" Philip then explained the passage, revealing its connection to Jesus. As they traveled, they came across water, and the eunuch expressed his desire to be baptized, stating, "Look, here is water. What can stand in the way of my being baptized?" Philip baptized him, and after emerging from the water, the Spirit of the Lord suddenly took Philip away. Philip reappeared at Azotus and continued preaching the gospel in towns until he reached Caesarea. The eunuch, filled with joy, continued his journey, becoming one of the earliest documented Christian converts from Africa. While the Bible is primarily set in the ancient Near East, it extensively references neighboring regions and peoples, including several in Africa. In the New Testament, a touching story unfolds about an African man named Simon. As Jesus, weakened from torture, struggled to carry the heavy wooden cross to Golgotha for his crucifixion, Simon, an African from Cyrene, was pulled from the crowd by Roman soldiers and compelled to bear Jesus' cross. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross, says Mark 15:21, New International Version. The mention of Simon's sons, Alexander and Rufus, suggests they might have been known to the early Christian community. This brief yet significant encounter highlights the universality of Jesus' message, reaching across continents and cultures. Throughout history, Africa has often served as a place of refuge for those in need of safety and solace, and the Bible explains this as well. Egypt specifically holds a unique role within biblical narratives, offering refuge to key biblical figures at different times. One notable instance is the Holy Family's journey to Egypt in the days following Jesus' birth. An angel appeared to Joseph in a dream, warning him of impending danger from King Herod, who sought to kill the newborn Messiah. "Get up," the angel commanded. "Take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I instruct you, as Herod is determined to search for the child and kill him." Responding to this, Joseph rose, took the child and his mother in the dead of night, and departed for Egypt, where they remained until Herod's death. This act fulfilled the prophecy. "Out of Egypt, I called my son." Seeking refuge in Egypt, Joseph, Mary, and Jesus shielded themselves from Herod's murderous intentions. In this narrative, Egypt becomes a sanctuary, ensuring the safety of the Holy Family and fulfilling the prophecy regarding the calling of the Son from Egypt. Did you know that the Black people are one of the major subjects the Bible talks about? Isn't it true that Black people are marginalized in religious matters, and only white people are present as the people for whom the prophets came? In the comment section below, please share your gratitude for being a nation with such superior roots. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.